Welcome back to the channel, guys. So, Thor Love and Thunder's critic review scores have dropped so far, and at the current state, it seems to be a mixed bag for the film. I personally have some issues with what I've seen in the trailer. I'm going to get a chance to see it Thursday, so I'll have a review coming out soon, shortly after that. My main gripe from the trailer was always Gore's look. There's been some stories that came out talking about how Christian Bale did not have enough time to prepare for the role. In my opinion, that has nothing to do with the cosmetic look of Gore, who is completely different than what the comic books describe him and visualize him as. But let's get into some of the critic scores of Thor Love and Thunder. Here we go. So, at the current state, it is sitting at a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes with 138 review scores. The audience score is what really matters, in my opinion, to films. Like, critics, they have their ideas of certain things, and going into reviewing movies and stuff after film school, I kind of don't want to review a movie for what I want it to be, but I kind of take a look at it and review it for what it is, with a little bit of things that I think that can make it better. You know, I try to give it a benefit of the doubt, because enjoyment of certain things is subjective to people, and who am I to say what someone else should like or shouldn't like? I just give my honest opinion and hope that it helps some people enjoy the film more or less, or not waste money on some of these films more or less. But let's look at some of these reviews here. 138 reviews. Eric Childress. I'm sorry, I can't even get it out. Did not think it was possible to make a worse Thor film than The Dark World, but Taika Waititi appears to have pulled it off. Thor Love and Thunder now ranks as the lowest point in the MCU. He gave it a 1 out of 4. Tony Stamp almost feels desperate in its attempts to entertain. The fights, special effects, jokes. That appears to be the running thing for Marvel films, is that they are continuing to push more jokes into these things, and more jokes into these things, and more jokes into these things. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, but that's not what we're here for. Those two are the rottens. Let's look at the tomatoes. Avi Offer. A funny, entertaining, and harmless sci-fi action comedy. That's not really much of details in these quick synopsis. There's another red tomato. The first half is decidedly funny and pulls out all the stops, but it dwindles, and it dwindles in its second half. Satisfies itself as a pretty generic, conventional duel and romance story with guilt redemption undertones. Okay. Scott Tobus. With every half-written joke, the creative stasis settles in like a stale fart. 2 out of 4. Todd Gilchrist. Natalie Portman especially, so I'm assuming she did a really good job in the film. And Christian Bale contribute more than enough capital A acting, bona fide to lead deeper emotional dimensions to Waititi's loose, occasional, too cheerful, but always visual and venturesome adaptation of Jason Aaron's stint on The Mighty Thor. So most of those are pretty middle of the road reviews with some low ones in there. And they all appear to have the same consensus, that it's a little bit heavy on the comedy, a little bit too much with some of the looseness of Thor's character, which I do have some gripes with, along with the way Gore looks in the film. Granted, I think Christian Bale is going to kill a role, because he is probably, if not one of my favorite actors of all time, but that doesn't excuse the fact of his facial features and his look as Gore. That has nothing to do with prosthetics and makeup. They could have made him much more comic accurate, which for me would have helped a lot. But at the current moment, he just looks like Christian Bale and white body paint. And I don't really care for the look. I care for the actor, but not the look. It sucks that they didn't make it more comic accurate, but we'll see for yourself and myself what it looks like when it's on the big screen. Thor's portrayal over the last two films, stemming from Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok, Thor has become much more of the comic relief. You know, the world's mightiest Avenger is now the comic relief of the MCU in some aspects, and I kind of don't like it. You know, Thor from the original film was definitely different. He didn't have this bumbling buffoonery about him, and he commanded the respect and the stage presence on screen. I mean, he's a god of thunder, you know, and I don't like the direction that they're taking with Thor. He is the quintessential man's man, you know, if you want to put it that way. But these last two films have him just, I don't know, man, just playing such an idiot. And I love Chris Hemsworth, and I love him as Thor, but I just don't like the Thor that we're getting right now. We'll see how Taika Waititi does in this film. Like I said, I'm gonna be seeing it Thursday. I suggest people take the critic scores this early on with a grain of salt, in a sense. I think that's why most people are going to YouTubers, just for a more honest outlook on these films. This isn't my job. This is a hobby. I love film. I went to school for film, and I enjoy talking about all things film. And this, in my opinion, is where I think your YouTuber gets its success from, because it's more of a honest, in touch with reality opinion. And like I said, I try to review things for what they are, not for what I want them to be. But Thor drops Friday, officially drops Friday. I'll be going to see it Thursday, and I'll probably do a quick impressions video and have a full review out a couple days after that, man. But at the current moment, 138 reviews. It's sitting at a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. And like I said, the user scores, in my opinion, are what always matters, because we are putting our money on the table for entertainment. But with that said, man, my name's Lincoln. This is the RPG Show, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.